Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I am the Creative Lady. Welcome to today's video. It is a very impromptu yet informative live stream with my friend, my good sis, Poppin Creations. Let me go ahead and get her in. She's been on before. Welcome, my good friend, Poppin Creations. And let me bring her up right now. Hey.
Hi. Oops,
Yep. Oh, seems like you're kicking in too.
honey.
How
Yes.
are you?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I'm happy we could make it because guess what? We had said we wanted to do this. And so today we decided to make it happen. I see you over there being creative. What you over there doing?
Yeah, because today is our lucky day. So, what I'm doing, guys, see this huge vase? I'm decorating it. So, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm putting these studs around it, and I'm using hot glue. And a lot of people don't know, Miss Creative Lady. A lot of people don't know that you can use hot glue on these glasses and it sticks just fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
I'm
is it
gluing them on.
removable?
Yes, I will pull them right off and change the colors for next time.
Okay. Okay. Well, awesome. Look at you being creative. So what is this for that you've got going on? Because this is just a very impromptu video. I didn't think we were going to have our cameras on, but here we are, y'all, in rare form. So
Well,
she's in creative form, and I am in yet another form. So what you got? What you making?
see the beautiful thing about us is that we talk about every aspect of being creative. We just talk about everything that pertains to crafts and we even talk about life in general. So, I mean, apparently that led us to doing this live today. So, to answer your question, because I got to stay focused, but see, it's because of somebody I know, is why I grabbed this glass of light wine. It's very light, not much in it. But but anyway, I'm doing a 60th birthday party and it's tomorrow. And the client needs 25 centerpieces, guys. 25, not 10, not 15, not 20, but 25. So,
Wow.
oh, and it's not a community center, but it's like a church center. So it's, if you've ever been into a gymnasium, which most of us have, it's huge. The center is huge. So I have to try to figure out how am I going to use space since the ceiling is like 20 feet tall, you know what I mean, in a gymnasium.
Mhm.
So that's what made me decide to go with these tall vase because they'll help take up some of the space.
Look at you. Okay, that is awesome. So by the time we are done with this video, you might be finished.
I hope to. I think that'll be cool. Yeah, if I can do that because the party is tomorrow, so I really need to be finished these today. You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
got to get going. So yeah, so that is wonderful. That's great. So I wish you very much success on the party tomorrow. And so today we decided to pop on because we had said earlier that we wanted to do one more something together before I went back to work. You're retired. I've got to go back to work. And so today we just made it happen. And for the first time probably ever, that we can actually thank a scammer for doing something
Oh,
positive. So
Lord
how
have
did
mercy.
how did we want to tell the people how we came up
Okay,
today
so
to being
guys,
able.
so guys, check this out. So I'm just minding my own business, okay, like most consumers do when these scammers reach out to you. I'm minding my own business, and all of a sudden, this invoice flashes across my phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, saying that this certain amount would be taken out of my account or has been debited out of my account. So I immediately went into panic, like, no, let me call the number on here and try to figure out how I can cancel this because I can't afford to have them take this much out of my account. I didn't know how often they were taking it out, but immediately I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're taking this out of my account. Is this annual? Is this monthly? This is a lot. So so I called the number that was on the invoice. And when I called it, it was sound like he was from another country. So he
Mm.
was like, I can help you cancel it. And I said, okay. And then he said, are you in front of a computer? I said, yes. He said, okay, so I'll tell you what to do. And I'm going to be specific. I guess I should be specific because there are other people who may be victims of this. So he asked me to take my fingers and push the CTR button along with the four Windows button at the bottom, along with the Q button, all at one time. So it brought up a screen. And he said, did the screen come up? And I said, yes. And then he said, okay, so I'm going to send you a code. Well, when he said that, I don't know what came over me, but it just started, something came over me to make me think, now, why am I giving him access to my computer? And I don't know this person. I'm not sure. Since I'm not sure what it is I'm getting myself into, and something doesn't feel 100% right, let me tell him I'll get back with him, which is what I did. I told him that, and he said, okay. So, but what I was really trying to do was get off the phone to call my sister on the phone, my sister from another mother, who is the creative lady. That's my resource right there. Okay, I figured if anybody knew if this was a scanner, she knew. I knew you knew. I knew you knew. I knew that you knew, and you did. So I called her, and she was busy, kind of real busy, but she gave me like 2 minutes of her time to. She said, no. She said, do not respond. Act like you don't see it. Delete it. Don't open it up. Ignore it because she said, you see how anxious you feel? It's designed to have you to react when you're anxious without thinking. So next thing you know, you're giving them more information than what you should. And now they tapped into all your information. Ignore it. It's a scam. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I called you. I knew that you would know. And so, and you said, I'll call you back. And you called me back. And of course, now when she calls me back, or now she's going to an appointment, but she's still texting me information, scam information. And she'll tell you more about that to find out if a company is a scammer. I don't know how she's able to give me, and I'm talking to you, sis, but I'm also talking to anybody who may hear us. For some reason, I don't know how she pulls it off, but she was able to text me the information for me to research while she was running into her appointment. It's like she was Johnny on the spot. I don't know how she does it.
I'm a
So,
librarian, baby. I'm a librarian. I'm an information resource. Okay.
yes, oh my gosh, and yes, you are. Oh my gosh, yes, and sure enough, scam. So, but check this out. Right before she sent me that information, I had Googled the name of this company, and she can. I'm gonna let her tell you more about that. What that part of it. So I had Googled it to see if it was legit, but I noticed the phone numbers were different than the number that was on the invoice. So I said, you know what? Let me see if this is a legitimate company. And there was another number. I did end up talking to the guy, another foreigner, but I got thrown off because he asked me my name, he asked me my zip code, and then he asked me to do the same thing the other guy asked me to do, which was go to window, are you in front of your computer? And I told him I was not in front of my computer and to call me back in about an hour. Mind you, I asked for that hour because I needed to speak with my sister here before I went any further. I said, no, I'm not getting ready to proceed any further until I talk to someone else. Okay. So I didn't tell him all of that. I just told him call me back in an hour, which she did. We ended up talking prior before that hour was up. So, but this was a kicker. So he was a foreigner, but he tells me his name is okay. So to me, that was a red flag. I'm not saying that an Asian, Hispanic, or whatever nationality, not knocking nationalities, but I'm just saying it was just weird hearing him say that his name was. I'm like, I don't know
Right. As
about
if
this.
maybe he has like a pseudonym or something, not to give his real name. Not as if his name couldn't have been, but you noticed in our lives, we know people of all nationalities. And if they're from a different country, their name is not.
He said his name was Johnson.
Okay. And that's a
So
common name. So it could be a million people. So if you try to get a hold of this person that works for this company, needle in a haystack. Okay.
And check this out. So, but this is the catcher. So he said, I'll give you my ID number, I'll give you my name, I'll give you my direct number. So I gave him, so he gave me all that information. But this is the catcher. He said, yes, I see where someone has tapped into your account. I see where someone's been gambling and using your information and looking at on your, and I was like, what? So he started naming these things, right? And I'm thinking to myself, and then I asked him, I said, so if you saw these things, why hadn't you guys, since I'm paying you, because he did say he saw me in the system paying them. I guess
So
just
do you
ignored.
have an account with this company?
Well, that's what I don't know, which I got
Okay.
to find out if I actually, because I was calling to that number that I Googled to see if I had an account, actually had one. And he said that I did. But the problem is that he asked me for my first and last name, and I really should have been asking him. I didn't know how to get around him finding out if I had an account without me giving him my name. I tried not to give him too much information, but he saw where I had an account and that I was paying $59 annually, right, for their service. And I was like, well, if I'm paying you anything annually, why is it that scammers have gotten a hold, and why are you saying people have been gambling using my information? Why haven't you guys called me? He said, actually, ma'am, we've been calling you all day. And that's an untruth. I have not received any calls from them all day. So he, again, even the other number that I called was a scam, right?
That's what
I
I'm
think.
thinking. Now, see, we didn't get a chance to go into all of that because the company that you mentioned, and it is a known scam tactic. If it's not, and this is let me just do a disclaimer, but this is what happened. So she received something from an antivirus company. They're saying, "Oh, we got this um invoice that you're gonna be billed." And so I've gotten those things from like the Geek Squad or different Best Buy and this and other. And you're thinking they want you to panic and say, "Oh, you're trying to get my money. Somebody's trying to bill me." That's the first thing. So they want you to be emotional about their scam tactic. And so they get you and play on emotion to get you to react and to possibly respond by doing something that in your right mind don't make a lack of sense, any sense at all. And so I'm glad that you were able to catch yourself and to reach out to me because I was en route to an appointment, and then when I got a chance, I called you right back, and I'm glad that we were able to talk. But the thing about it, I don't want people to be fearful of being online or shopping online or, whatever. But you just have to be aware that scammers are working 24/7. They're working 25/8, okay, to try to take somebody's money or belongings, identities, and things of that nature. And so what they try to do is, from my best training, is to get you to follow the link, and then they hack into your system, and sometimes they'll have keystroke recordings to where you might think there's nothing going on, and they could be getting, passwords or account numbers, credit card number, things like that. So just anytime somebody calls you all with or email, never click the link. Contact the company directly. And I know she said that she Googled and she still ended up probably with a scammer. So if you probably could have checked your bank to see had you been paying this antivirus company a year, a yearly fee or something like that. But they pray and play on it's like a confidence. Like remember back in the day they used to talk about the pigeon drop and things like that. It's a play on confidence. And so you're thinking, okay, well this I may have this service or blah blah blah. But the thing is you got to stop. Don't react because they got their fishing hook out there fishing all day, 25/8. They've got nothing to do but try to scam people. And so you could have just stopped, checked with your financial institutions, your credit cards to see if you had been paying this company. And I'm glad that you didn't do any more. of reaching out to them, because when she called me, you guys, she was panicking. She was panicking, asked me had I ever heard of this company. I'm like, yeah, it's a reputable antivirus company, blah blah blah. But I didn't know exactly what was going on until we started, chatting as I was turning into the parking lot of my appointment. And I was like, oh no, girl, ignore, ignore. You don't have to do anything. She was panicking, thinking she needed to respond to stop something from happening. And I'm like, no, the best thing you could do is nothing. Don't respond. Don't call anybody else. Just monitor your accounts, making sure there's nothing going on. So it's just weird the way things have become. But yeah, so hopefully she feels better. And I was telling her about a company. You all probably have heard of it. And this is a scam. I'm going to pop this up real quick. You can go to there's a website. It's a legitimate website, Snopes.com, and it's basically a fact checking. Like if you're thinking something is like an urban legend or myth or something going on, go to Snopes.com, and that's snopes.com. And this is the top line here: the Norton Renewal email scam lures victim with fake invoice, and I think that's what happened to her today. And they were trying to whatever they do to gain information from her. So it is an older scam, but it's still an effective scam. Let me go back to the screen here. Um, yeah, so we were able to help her to hopefully avoid any type of scam, because it's easy. And again, they prey on your vulnerability, your anxiousness about somebody trying to take some money. Okay, you talking about money and emotions. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
thank
yeah,
you. You helped me out a
you
whole lot. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. You're welcome. And it just I felt her anxiety because I was feeling anxious at that moment, trying to get to my appointment, because my appointment was at 1:30. Just trying to get out of my neighborhood. There was an accident as I was getting out of something was going on, and then here comes the police car, here comes the fire truck right in front of me. So all directions of traffic had come to a stop. I had to try to do a U-turn, go out another way. You had to call the appointment people to let them know I'm running behind. So I was feeling anxious. Okay. And so I don't like feeling anxious. And if you ever felt anxiety or nervousness or agitation or something like that, it can feel suffocating. And so
Yeah.
she was going through this at the same time with something on her end, half the country away. Here I am going through something, and she reached out, and I was able to help calm her down. And I eventually made it to my appointment, and so everything worked out. But I was still feeling anxious, just the after effects.
Yeah.
So we are definitely sisters from another mister. We've been uh started off as co-workers from back in the day. And if you know me, I don't find friends that work too often. And so if you've known the story, we became friends. People thought we looked alike, the kids thought we looked alike, and we just formed a friendship, and it's been 20 some years. Has it been 20 some years?
Every bit of it. At
Golly.
least. At least.
At least you're right. At least, yep, yep. Oh gosh, yes, it's been. We in the 20s. Yep. And so
Wow.
she has since retired from her
Oh,
career and gotten into being a full-time crafter, a retired educator turned full-time crafter. And so you see her over there gluing stuff, making stuff. I mean,
Lord.
she's very creative.
Yeah. Always doing something. So yeah.
She stays booked and busy.
So
Booked
I'm
and busy.
yes, remember she said I'm retired. Tell them what you said you were going to do to me when I called you when you go back to work.
I'm gonna block her ass.
Can you believe
She's
she
talking
said
about
that?
I said it. I might have to bleep that out. But she said she was going to text me a photo or video or something of her while I'm at work on the clock. And she's gonna send me probably her kickback watching TV, lounging, drinking wine at 9 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
and I'm at work. That's not fair, y'all. That is not going to be a fair photo. If you
Yes.
think it's fair, comment below. If you think it's unfair, comment below. But we don't know where this is going to go. If it's going to be strictly a podcast or if it's going to be podcast slash YouTube upload as well, since we actually online, just
Okay.
as we are on this Thursday day, rainy, gloomy day.
So listen, I'm working on something else now, and I may as well just throw it out there while we're hanging out, so you'll know. I wanted to give a quick tip bit tip. So see these right here. This is also for my arrangement. They'll go on the top with the greenery, kind of hanging. Oh, yeah. So what I'm doing, just in case anybody ever worked with styrofoam, or yeah, this right here, what you should do whenever you're making arrangements or anything, take something sharp. Not it doesn't have to necessarily be pointed. Actually, this is the end of a stem, and I'm putting a hole in this. Okay, and the reason why I'm putting a hole is because I want to reinforce the greenery that I'm going to stick in here. You don't want to just stick the greenery in there because it could potentially come out. So what I do is I puncture it, put a hole in it. Okay, and then actually put glue on the tip of the greenery, and then and this work, and then I just stick it in that hole and it dries. So I don't have to worry about my greenery falling out. That's just a little quick tip I want to give you guys.
Okay, thank you for that, Poppin.
Yes,
So look at always teaching. Once a teacher, always a
always a teacher.
teacher.
Yes.
Child, I was on my way to my appointment today, and I was passing by some schools, and I saw people in the parking lot. I was like, "Oh no, who are these people?" You've got a couple more days before your vacation officially ends, and here you are up at the workhouse, decorating your classroom, rearranging furniture. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm staying until I'm going in at the last minute. I'm kicking it Sunday night. I'ma be kicking and screaming, setting the clock, crying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, I know you forget all about those things because y'all, she does me like this. She'll forget that I'm either when I'm at work or she doesn't know if I'm off work. What you doing at home? Why you calling me at 10 o'clock? Girl, I'm on vacation. It's spring break or it's Christmas break or whatever. And she like I ain't supposed to take no time off. She just think I'm always at work.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. I used to be one of those that went in a couple of days early to set my room up too. I was all excited. That
Who
no, that
did?
was long before retirement, honey. As I got
Okay.
closer to retirement, I barely showed up on the first day of work.
Okay, because I get to 25 this year, and I hit the double nickel really soon, like next week. And so with me, once I get there, God let me get there, it's going to be game on, or is it going to be game over, baby? I don't know yet, but I'm just trying to get to that magic day and number.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole different feel for you this time now that you're in a different bracket.
I agree, but and I think for me, I was feeling anxious about it because it's been a long time coming. I've been quitting for the last 15 years. I've been quitting my job, y'all, for the last 15 years. I'm like, I ain't gonna make it. I never thought I was gonna be able to make it. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want it to, whatever. And then, as bad as it was, I think 2020 gave us all a little grace, I would suppose, of give you a little more longevity, gave you a little time to pause. Sorry
Yes.
for all of the tragedies that happened around 2020, but some of the things I think that came out of 2020 were um, the idea that people could stay home and work from home. I think that increased that WFH, that work from home status. Some people already knew it, but educators and a lot of companies had to figure out a way, find a way, and work from home. And so I think that gave us, especially as Americans, a different pace. You're not having to
Yeah.
get out in traffic. If I didn't have to leave home and drive 40,
Right.
45 minutes each way, drive back home, deal with the whatever. I mean, just the traffic alone gives me anxiety. And
Yeah.
Memphis is not a a huge city, but what happens, you'll have people who you should be able to get anywhere from point A to B in Memphis in less than 20 minutes or
Right.
30 at the max, depending from north to south, east to west. You should be able to get from there to there in
Right.
20, 30 minutes. But what happens, the expressway, I never get on the expressway because you'll have people who probably are like myself, feeling like, okay, I don't want to go. I'm waiting to the last minute. Then they jump on the expressway and cause a calamity on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't, that just gives me anxiety. And then some of the people that just all the construction and things like that that's going on that reroute you and other people. So then there you have that. I'm not intentionally somebody who just trying to just be on, whatever. But things happen, and I have learned in my life, I'm not going to stress out about it. If there's a
So,
traffic jam, what you want me to do?
so if I may add to that, what I've learned now that I'm older, I've moved, even though I move fast with a lot of things that I do, especially as a creator, a designer, and things like that. Unless I'm just moseying along, like tonight, I'm chilling. I'm in my lab, kind of taking my time putting these arrangements together. But when I have appointments or have somewhere to be, I'm at a place in my life now where I make sure, like if I put in the GPS how long it's going to take me to get to a particular place, I'm always going to build a cushion. I don't want to be the person to say, okay, I can be there in 30 minutes. I'm going to give myself 45 minutes, maybe even a little longer, just depending, because you have to allow for mishaps, for accidents, or and prayerfully no accidents on our part. But just you just want to have a cushion so you're not rushing on the highway, road rage. So many things come along with rushing. So and period with everything, even when traveling, trying to catch a flight, us knowing that we're going to travel, and then we always want to wait till the day before to pack. It's just so many little things that now that I'm older, I just try to give myself plenty of time so that I'm not stressed out, so that I'm not frustrated. And for those who wear makeup and have to put their wigs on or their hair in, give yourselves time to put your lashes on, honey, please, because some of y'all, it takes you a while. And then your husbands be mad at you, your spouses be frustrated because, and now you got an argument or you're looking at each other funny. It's, yeah, this is real, right, sis? This is real
Yeah,
talk.
real
So
talk.
give yourselves plenty of time so that you're not as stressed, so you don't have the road rage, so you're not upset and stressed out when you get to work or your destination. Yeah.
And then you got the people who put makeup on in the car.
Oh
So
my
they
God.
are really
See,
they're really pushing it, right?
hazard, hazard.
I just kind of side eye because you don't want to make too much eye contact with people because it's so crazy out here now. But it's like wow, and when you
Right,
see the people that show up to the meetings or show up for work, they looking polished. You don't know whether they got dressed in the car, they
right,
shaving, they put on deodorant or whatever.
right.
I have seen it all. Okay, I've seen a lot, and then they get anxious about it because they're having to get dressed in the car. So I agree with you, giving yourself some time, to leave home in enough time. But let me tell you what about me. The earlier I show up for work, the more work I get. So it's just not an advantage. So if I show up for work early, I sit in the car. I don't want to get out. I could be in
Yeah,
the car waiting for the clock to tick to go inside,
yeah,
when I'm there. So that says a whole lot about a whole other conversation. But it's like rather than go inside because people will start thinking, oh, she's here. Well, let's start working. And you look at your clock. It's 7:45 or 15 minutes to the hour. You're just there as a grace and a courtesy to yourself, not for the company. But people will start to expect, oh, you show up 15 minutes early, so let's give you some more work. Oh, we'll give you some morning responsibility. Let's give you some
right.
afternoon duties. So, that's not for me. Grace to get to work on time is not grace for the company. Grace early arrival is great for the employee. I feel that's my thought pattern. So
Yeah, that's funny you say that, and you should definitely sit in the car if you don't want anybody giving you work to do.
right.
I get it, I get it. And if you do go in though, guys, And all of us, sometimes you have to learn to say no. I'm learning that. No, go in your office and close your door because you're not even on the clock. You know,
But let me
it's
tell you, and
unfortunate.
and it gets you to feeling anxious, but it's better for me personally to sit in the car because, oh,
Yes.
I hate to bother you, but they'll see you. Oh, she's here. Oh, somebody is here for a setup, and I'm so glad that you're here. And you know, I'm just over that part, honestly.
Them folks will come out to
And
the car and find you.
oh, that has happened. Did I send you this thing yesterday? It's about. I had to send it to you. It was like this micromanager
What?
person. Oh my goodness, this person, he watches the door to see what time employees come. He watches the door to see what time to make you feel guilty about leaving on time. You're not supposed to take a lunch break. Who goes to lunch? Well, you're supposed to go to lunch. It's like you if you oh, it was just a lot. It resonated with me a whole lot. I was like, oh, let me get out of this thing. It was like screeching chalk to me sometimes. But yeah, but
Wow.
55. So I've got to dial it back. I talked to one of my online friends yesterday, and she was saying that she was decorating her classroom, and I was like, "Girl, I'm Monday night, Sunday night, I'm gonna be kicking and screaming." But I know
Mm,
elementary teachers. Shout out to the teachers.
yeah,
It's different level to this thing. Elementary teachers, they got to have
yeah,
their room set up. They got to
yeah.
have the reading corner. They got to have this corner, the treats,
They
the
do.
reward, the colorfulness. I got 20 jobs, so I don't know what this year is going to hold for me. So I'm just taking it as I always in the last little bit, one day at a time, one moment at a time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And saying no, someone has sent me something. Hey, people in real life, I call them my pearls, people in real life. I work in a school, and so I had gotten a copy of the supply list. If you work in a school, you get the supply list, and so parents could have the list to go to the stores to start getting the kids school supplies and things like that. I made it last year over the summer because the list that I saw it was just not it wasn't listing correctly. And you're supposed to have like a little checklist or whatever. So I redid it last year. So I got a list this year. And it was just the contrast between the list and the background. It was just too much. The background was overwhelming. I said, well, no, this is not right. And I fumbled around with it for a couple of days, realizing, wait a minute, I'm still on vacation. You know what? Let me just put this thing. My husband and I were traveling out of town. I was I had got my laptop out. I said, let me work on this thing for work. And then I caught myself and said,
Hmm.
no, you're right, right. So I said, no, let me put up what they sent me. And if the
Hmm.
people don't like it, they can't read it, the contrast it's not gonna be my fault because I put up what they gave me. So I'm reclaiming my time, as Maxine Waters said. So I said, nope, I drew the
Good for
line
you.
right then and there. So I don't want to start the year off wrong with that behavior. So kudos to me.
Yeah, kudos to you. Yeah, that's great.
hmm Yep, yep,
Hmm.
yep. So we see you're in your creativeness right now. As you're 33 minutes into this conversation. So how did you get to be creative and that you recognize that you were on a creative journey?
Okay. Well, I know that I've always been creative as a youngster because I remember being around 12 or 13. That I remember my mom used to always shut my bedroom door because in my bedroom I had stuffed animals hanging from the ceiling. I had gone and purchased this big net. Why would I do that? But the netting, I had it tacked onto the ceilings and inside of the nets, I had stuffed animals just hanging. I don't know what that was all about. That's so funny
So
when
it
I
was
think
kind of like a
about it.
carnival, maybe like a
Yes,
net where the animals were just thrown up. I've seen
yes,
that. Yeah. So
yes. What was I? I mean, I was about 12, maybe 12. And I never forget also, I had this denim jacket. It was like a Letterman's jacket, but it was like made out of denim, kind of oversized. I probably got it from a thrift store. It didn't have anything on it. But what I did, whenever I would get buttons, I would put buttons on it, pins on it. I would get my marker and draw on it and write on it. So this was like my favorite jacket. Okay. So I would say even, oh, and I also, one day I'm going to share. some of the stuff I did. And maybe if I can find my notebook while we on here, some of the stuff I used to do when I was younger. I would take sweatshirts, but back then I would paint on it. I would sketch something on it and then get the canvas shoes, the white canvas shoes with the white sweatshirt, and I would match the shoes with the shirt. Whatever I painted on the shirt, I would paint on the shoes, and I was wearing it. I wasn't trying to sell it. I call myself being fresh. You hear me? So obviously back then I had started tapping into my creativity, but I think I got away from it when went into the school system and started coaching, because that was another passion of mine, teaching special education and coaching. So I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of crafts. But actually, before I went to college, I was making some crafts and sitting out. I forgot about that. That's another part too. I was making like hair bows back then and signs. And I would sit out in front of Walmart and sell my stuff. And I was in my early 20s. Now, mind you, I'm 61 now. So I was in my early 20s doing that to try to make ends meet. Yeah.
So you would say that you did your creative journey sometimes as a kid, it was being creative, but then as you got older, you relied on it to be as a means of income.
I relied on it. Yeah. Because me being from up north back then, and fresh out of high school, or maybe when I turned 19 or 20, my mom helped me get on at the Department of Treasury. So when I decided I wanted to move south, um, it was hard for me to get back into the government. They would tell me I was overqualified, or they looked at how I wore my hair and how I dressed and how I spoke. So they just figured, no, she's too qualified for this job. So I wouldn't get the good jobs, the office
Mhm.
jobs. They would
Yeah.
deny me. Yeah. So I ended up working at fast food restaurants and cleaning homes and ironing for Caucasians and taking care of elderly people and braiding hair. I was a hustler.
I
I
was
was
about to
making
say,
stuff.
girl, you
Oh
sound like
yeah.
a hustler.
I was a hustler to make, because I was used to, not that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but when I left home, we weren't in a bad way, because my mom, even though she had gone through whatever all she had gone through, by the time I was older or in my early teens, my mom was doing well enough for us to understand God has more for you and better for you. So when I moved, they didn't understand why I would be moving from a great job working for Treasury, you know. So me moving south, it was like, hmm. Now I know up north it takes a lot more money to survive, because of the cost of living. So I figured if I made money in the south hustling, that money would go a lot farther. That was my mindset, right? And if you think about it, it's true. And that's a whole nother story, which is how I paid my house off in 10 years. We can talk about that later. But it all came from me hustling. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I don't know if I would have been able to pay off a house up north in 10 years, but in the south I was able to do it because I understood the value of the dollar being in after being up north and then moving south. So every penny counted for me, you know. So all I know is after finally going to college, because I used to tell my mother when I was in my 20s and she got me on at the government, I said, Ma, everybody's not going to college, because I didn't want to go to college. But when I moved south and realized, shoot, I'm gonna be working at these fast food restaurants and making heater cords at this hot factory. And this is what it is, unless you go to college. So I ended up going to college, and that's a whole nother story. You get a chapter out of my book on how I ended up going to school and not having to pay for any of my schooling with a bachelor's and a master's. My story is real interesting, but I don't know. So me going to college, of course, now my income is changing. I always loved coaching. You know what I'm saying? I always loved sports. When I lived in up north, I did coach some neighborhood kids in track. I used to have them racing up and down the street, and I wasn't but 18 years old then. And all these boys now are grown men. They're like 40, 45 years old, and when they see me, they have admiral. Their respect level for me is amazing, because they're like, "Oh man, coach, you kept us off the streets." And these men are grown men with families and kids and things like that. So it's crazy how I ended up. coaching and ended up going to school and became a coach. Starting out coaching kids at the community centers in the church and things like that, and ended up coaching middle school for 17 years. You know, coached at elementary for 5 years, then coached at another high school for like 3 years. So it's crazy. But after I retired, I tapped right back into this. Who knew I was going to go right back to my love, my first love?
A full circle moment,
Of
don't you think it
yeah,
feels like a full circle moment?
yes. I think I could you could help me write my book because I was able to spit all of that out because I was on the phone with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we do. We've often said, "Oh, we should have been recording that conversation that we just had," because when we pick up the phone, it's gonna be hours that we yapping. We talking about one thing, and then we going 2 or 3 hours about all other things that loop back around to a full circle moment.
Yeah. And oh, and
So
you and my name, Poppin Creations. Oh my gosh. So and I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't no real alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. I mean, I do drink, but here I am decorating bottles. I'm like, you know what? This is a cute bottle. I would see bottles and not want to throw them away, and I just started painting on them. And I said, oh man, you know what? I'm gonna start making and selling bottles because remember, I'm a hustler, right? I need to put that on a shirt. Remember, I'm a hustler. But I ended up making bottles, and I think I shared it with my girl here online with me, and I said, "Hey, what do you think? I could call it popping bottles." But apparently, during that conversation, I started. There were some other things I must have been creating at that time, and I asked her what she thought about the name, popping bottles, and then she realized how creative I was. She must have seen it. You have to tell me when you realized how creative I was too because she said, you know what? You should go with Poppin Creations. And when I tell you that resonated with me, and that was literally 20 years ago, at least 18 years ago, maybe. She said Poppin Creations. I was like, oh my gosh, that is perfect. Poppin Creations. And here I am today, LLC, Poppin Creations with a website on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, clientele. I sometimes walk up on people and be like, I know you. I've seen you. I follow you. And I don't have a whole lot of followers, but the few people I run across that have heard of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. I'd be so grateful that they heard of Poppin Creations.
absolutely. I remember that moment. I remember you were doing the bottles and you were blinging them out and they were fantastic. I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful work. And I knew that her hands were blessed. And I'm like, wow, as a creative myself. So, I was like fangirling out. I loved it. And so I was like, yeah, instead of bottles, I mean, let's maybe just encompass a little bit more. But were you at that point trying to niche down? And I talked you out of it. People are always saying, you need to niche down, and so maybe hold on, let's see. Niching down. We talked about this, and niching down is where they're saying now that people should focus on one thing. But it's like when you are creative, it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do it all, you know? But
Yes.
your niche at that time was the bottle. But I just still felt like you would grow beyond bottles if you were going to go with the website or things of that nature. I wanted you to think a little bit broader. You could still
Yeah.
have been doing the bottles, but just it might be something different. What if you want to start bringing out something else because you were already
Right.
doing the jackets? And so I'm like, well, no, maybe you don't need to just make it so tight, to where you just bottles only.
Right. 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 Right.
And I
Wow.
think that's what's so good about having, um, a person or a handful of people, because you can't trust everybody. People that you can trust with your ideas, your dreams, because everybody's not gonna ride for you,
Right.
and so, you don't want your heart broken by somebody stealing your dream or crushing your dreams or something like that. But I've always been grateful for our friendship and the trust because, I got trust issues, and so to find somebody a good friend. I have just a handful that I can truly say, that's my friend, and I trust her, 100%. And so I thank you for being my friend because I ain't no piece of
Ah,
work, baby.
So are you the reason why my tagline? Are you behind that as well? Gifted hands for all your demands.
It was
Somehow
just
I
you. I think it just, when you always tell me your gifts will make room for you, I think
yeah
everything was in alignment. You
yeah
know, I think you just found a way to say, you know what? What do I do? I work with my hands and I'm gifted. And I just felt like you just put it was just like divine timing.
yeah
So
yeah
I think it
yeah.
just
Like
all worked out.
our spirits connected and brought us together. It was meant for me to meet you.
I
It
know.
was
So we
meant.
got to thank the boss lady because I know at one point she's going to see this. Our original principal. We're not going to call her name, but she
Oh,
knows
I
who
love
she
her.
is.
Oh, I hope
And
she
I
see
think
it.
she put together an ensemble staff of people. And I think I've shared with the other communities, but depending on whether it's video or audio ends up, um,
I needed to go to
I had,
Oprah Winfrey and Steve Harvey and all of those people.
okay. Yeah, I think it's out there. You got Tamron Hall and all those different
Oh,
places. There's room for you. There's room for you.
yes.
I think your story is worth being on a platform. And it's coming. It is on the way. So without hesitation or thought, it's on the way.
Oh, wow.
So for me, what was I saying, child? This
So,
glass is
okay,
hitting
hold
me
up.
in.
So we're talking about niching down, but we got to talk about your name. How you got your name?
Oh, okay. The creative journey and then my name. Okay, it all goes back to I was just if it's just my family. If I can put it in a nutshell, my family being creative and making something out of nothing. Like my grandparents, my mom, my dad is very creative, and so just the whole it's in my genes, as you always say. And so I think growing up in Mississippi, my grandmother, well, my mother and father, they were doing different careers and things like that. But I lived with my grandparents, and so seeing them, what they like break crops or break ground to grow crops and stuff like that. I used to, oh my God, it's hot. But you were learning how to grow and live off the land, but you didn't know that that's what it was called. Fast forward to 2024, living off the land. People are having urban gardens and things like that, knowing how to grow your own food. I understand and know how that works, okay, based on the experience of growing up in the country with my grandparents. And my grandmother and her friends had, apparently it's called a quilting bee. But guess what? I just knew that they were just some ladies in the neighborhood that were just taking up all of the bed space that I couldn't lay down because they had all these scraps
Hmm.
all over the bed, thread all in my hair. They calling me over, young eyes, come thread this needle. And they would sit around and they would sew and make quilts out of rags. And back in the day, you could buy a big, I don't know how big, maybe a 5-pound bag of flour and sugar or meal or something of that nature. And it came with a washcloth, which is a strange thing. If you're old enough, you're not from deep enough from the South, you may know that some of those things came with a washcloth attached to the bag of the flour. And so they would take those things, the actual flour sack that the flour or the meal or whatever was in, and they would just old clothes, just break them apart and make a quilt for the winter. And so I grew up watching that, but not knowing that I was internalizing all of that, okay? And then I had, my mom. I have to say she is the original creative lady. She was a photographer. She was the seamstress. She she was the person who deep conditioned her hair with a plastic bag back in the 80s, and I thought, "Oh,
Wow.
I thought my mama is just done lost it because she's got shampoo and conditioner. Her hair had beautiful natural hair, but fast forward, my mother was progressive. She was setting trends before I even knew what was going on. I didn't know what was happening. So I to answer your question, I get it from my family. And so what happens, fast forward to 2002, I think that's when I really got it. I used to be called the video lady. Before I moved to Memphis, I was always videoing something. So that's the video lady. That was my niche at that time, the video lady. But as I moved to Memphis and was doing IT technology with my computers, you know, passion started. People were like, "Oh, you good with computers?" I had never had a computer course a day in my life, and so it was just born out of necessity. Think when my supervisors realized, the original boss lady, that oh, I can be trusted with these tasks. I'm going to get it done. There came more and more responsibility, going to trainings, learning how to develop websites. That was back in 2002 when you had to learn the, gosh, not the WWW, but the Worldwide Consortium, that type of thing, knowing how to HTML and all of that. It's not just you go download a template and then you just plug it in. I had to plug in code. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the understanding and the ability to learn those things that way, but it's a lot easier now. But back in the day, it was like, wow, it was more complex to operate and update websites and things like that. So
Mm.
to answer your question, I credit my family. Well, my grandfather would cut hair. I used to watch him on the porch with his friends. They cutting hair and they playing checkers on the porch, but those were amazing moments in my life that I didn't at that moment didn't know what was happening, that it was just happening. But I was just at a beautiful time, growing up at a slower pace, so
Yeah.
and given good values and understanding about people. And it was just an awesome experience. I would not trade it. Sometimes you might think you would want to, but hindsight, I accept all of it that makes me who I am, which turns out to be the creative lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You used to do a lot of amazing stuff on at the job. I'm surprised I wasn't sitting in the library every day just waiting on you to come out. I don't know. I don't know why I
And
wasn't.
I
Huh?
can't understand how I had to do it all by myself. I don't understand how you weren't tapped to help me.
Because you didn't train me to do your job. You just helped me with the stuff I ain't have a clue. I didn't know the technology when that started kicking in. Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to use computers. Help. I used to run to you, remember?
Mhm. But can you imagine had we been the dynamic duo of creativity
Yeah.
back then, and it
Yeah.
wasn't just me?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm
Man,
telling you, this is our time. This is our time right now. This is our time. And the reason why I'm looking around, I just made a shirt. I got to go get it while we on the phone. I'm keeping you with me. I ain't
okay.
going nowhere.
Okay, okay. You sure? You sure I can take you? Oh, you want to walk? You want to walk?
I'm walking. I'm
Oh,
walking. Stay on
okay.
with me. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Stay on with me. Because I laid
Ain't
it
no
up
telling
here.
what she gonna show us, y'all. Ain't no telling.
Yeah. But I mean, but you keep talking. Y'all see it? Look,
Okay.
3 flights of stairs.
So,
Three.
and with all of that, so now we crafters on fumes, okay? Because we do so much. Neither one of us wants to niche down, but I think one of us or two of us want to kind of niche down a little bit. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you almost have to for fear of burnout
Right.
and all of the things that come with that. So you have to have balance with anything that you do. It can be something that you enjoy 100%, but you need a
Right.
break from anything, everything,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Where you taking us to, lady? Where are
Oh
you
Lord, I'm
taking
back.
us?
I'm back downstairs.
Okay. Oh, you have to go get something. Okay.
So that this is the beauty in just being yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You
Yeah.
let me run all the way up 3 flights of steps, this retired lady, and I'm
Are you
still
huffing
here.
and puffing? I don't hear you huffing and puffing.
I'm still
So
here.
so you exercise and all that. So you in good shape. Good job. Good job,
Well,
lady.
I do not exercise. That's my exercise is running up and down the steps all day long.
Okay.
Right? Does that work?
Yes. Yes, that's
Okay.
cardio. Good cardio. Easy cardio.
So what was that you said? This is no. See what that say?
It's my time. Hold on, let me make you big.
It's my time. You see it? Yes. Okay. I had to say that, but are you there?
Yeah, did you make that?
I did.
What? Show it off. Oh my good. Let me take myself out, but then I'm gonna let you have the center screen. Just show it off, okay?
Y'all see that? See it? Okay.
That is
You saw
nice.
it?
Yes, that is beautiful.
All different women on there. Year of the woman. And that, oh, thank you for my confetti. I made that last night.
What?
Yeah, I'm aware. I
That
made it
is
for myself.
okay. So, okay, if you want to share, what do you have on there? So you got a regular cotton shirt.
This is this actually a dry fit shirt, and the
Okay.
images that you see are different types of women. You see women dancing, you see Afrocentric, you see Caucasian women, you see young women, you see older women, you see people that are into music, different types of women, and it has Year of the Woman. Because I just figured with everything that's going on, this is our time to shine. So
Right.
that so I took various images that I have and put them all together and came up with this design and put on there Year of the Woman. And that's what made me put this on the back. It's my time. Oh, I could
That
have
is
put it's our
awesome.
time. Yeah. You like it?
Okay. I love it. Yes, that is fantastic. That is nice. So, I it just so were you up one night and you just decided you wanted to make something and then you came up with that?
Yeah, what happens with me is the longer I sit in the lab, which is where I am now, this is where I'm the most creative. But sometimes at night in my sleep, I'm creating. Are you like that? It's like
Yes.
you're thinking, what can I do next? Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you're saying that, are you asleep when you're doing that or are you awake doing that?
I'm both.
Because sometimes I could find myself, even though I'm sleeping, my eyes are closed, I'm not
Yeah,
fully like in that zone to where you all the way sleep.
yeah,
It's like it's like a state of allowing creativity to just enter the room.
yeah. Because
That's
you're at
what
a
it feels like.
still place. We're at a still place so we can think. Yeah,
Now you know
and
I
we're
got Ray
quiet.
Ray, so Ray Ray have the TV on, but I can tune that out. But
Yeah,
it just allows the creativity in that moment to enter
yeah,
the building. And so,
yeah,
yeah, I do understand. Yeah, yeah. Because over the summer, this past summer, even though it was short, lot going on, I've had to start just writing down my ideas because it was just too much and too much to do in one summer with everything that I had going on. But I
yes.
just figured, let me just write them down because, I won't remember. And God has
Uh-huh.
given me a lot of ideas, a lot of ideas. So I just have to write them down. I don't have to act on them. And see, that's what I had to draw back from trying to act on everything right away.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. That right there for creative people is it's rough because we were talking about niching down, scaling. Because when you're creative, oh my gosh, it's like your mind is on. Um, it's not on palette, or is it palette? It's like it's on automatic. It doesn't stop. You're always, yeah,
On,
crafters
always
fume.
on.
It's always on. I have a friend in my life. He calls me a machine. He says, "You are a machine," because I'm just always on go. Always, what next? What can I? Yeah. And then I'm one of those people who I do what my hands find to do. The Bible, it's a Bible verse that says that do what your hands find to do. That is a Bible verse. You guys look it up. And that could mean a lot of things. So either if you're creative with your hands, that's one thing, but you could also be the type, and this is for our youngsters, if there are any young people listening to this, or school age kids, do what your hands find to do means if it's something good, it's something that would help, do what your hands find to do. Open the door for a lady or an older person who's walking by, or don't leave your trash out. Take the trash out, help with the chores, or you know what I'm saying, whatever your
Mhm.
hands find to do, pick up the trash, do your work, anything that you can do to contribute to life that's positive. Do what your hands find to do. If you're at a party, and the house is left in disarray, help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't
It,
just enjoy the
yeah,
festivities and go home. If you can stay behind and
yeah,
help the host and the hostess clear
exactly.
the space, they would greatly
Fold.
appreciate it because
Look,
they
how
open
about
their
helping?
homes up.
Right. How about helping to fold the clothes? You have a lot of wives who we wash all these clothes, and some people just like what I do sometimes, just put them all on the bed. How nice would it be for someone to walk by and say, you know what, I'm gonna do what my hands find to do and fold up these
Ooh,
shirts. How deep is that?
let me let Ray
Do
Ray in on this so he can help because Ray Ray
yes,
can't cook.
yeah. Is Ray Ray in there?
Girl, when I told him earlier that we were gonna go live, he said when I was at Chipotle getting us something, he was like,
Uh huh.
Y'all gonna need me." I said, "Oh yeah, we gonna need you.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
we gonna need you.
You should.
You
Is
know
he
we
in the
gonna need Ray
house?
Ray."
Okay, because I was gonna say, honey, I was gonna talk to him about do what your hands find to do. Hey, but that's
He probably
huge.
watching the news right now because he old man is always watching the news.
Yeah, but that's really big doing what your hands find to do. Any way you can help, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially if it's good help. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
So we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. Can you believe it? 1
Wow.
hour. And then we started
Wow.
talking before I hit the record button. So there's
We haven't
that.
even touched the surface. I know we're gonna have to have more of these talks, though. We
We're
got to
gonna have to
keep
do a
doing it.
part two, but it's just been good to just get here and to just talk about it because just to go from we made it happen today from the work of a scammer trying to get my sister to hey, you know
Yep.
what? We said we were gonna do this and we made it happen. So you know what? I feel accomplished
Yes.
today, and so
Yes.
we got it in. So,
Yes.
as we get ready to maybe wrap it up, as I know you're still working, you've got an event for tomorrow. What is your self-care practice? What do you do to detach from all of the crafting and the business and the booked and busyness? What do you do to practice self-care?
One thing that I do is I try to make it a point to when I first get up in the morning, I don't pick up my cell phone to see what's going on in the world. I don't turn on the TV. I get up. I typically will sit on the side of the bed and I'll kind of bend over and stretch because as you get older, you do need to stretch. Okay. So I bend all the way over, touch my toes, or I may pull my feet up and stretch my legs, just any of that. And then typically what I do is make the bed up because I think that's one of the things, first stage of having success throughout the rest of your day is to start out by
Easy.
making up your bed.
The
That's a
easiest thing you can do is
and
make the
it's the
bed.
it's easy. It's easy.
Mhm.
You just make it up, and that's an accomplishment. That's the first accomplishment you make during the first part of your day is to make
Yeah.
that bed up. So after I make the bed up, then I'll go and sit on my couch. I have a couch in my room. It's actually a recliner. And now at this point, I grab my phone. I don't go to anything else but YouTube, and I put it on the 10-minute guided meditation. And I close my eyes. I follow the instructions because it's guided meditation. They tell you exactly what to do. And it just puts me in a place of relaxation. I relax, I breathe, I think, you know. And when I tell you it helps, it calms me at times that I really need it, where I may overreact. But because I meditate, there's something about meditation, it calms your spirit. It doesn't change who you are or who I am as a creator because I'm still very creative, but it centers me. It helps me to think. It gives me clarity. So that is definitely one of the things that I do for me. And sometimes I may read, and it's always going to be a self-help book, something that's going to take me to the next level, something that's going to help elevate me. Reading about other people's stories, going walking and listening to different people who have success stories. That's for me as well. And of course, anyone who knows me know that I love to travel. Love, love, love travel. So, hey, I'm going to keep traveling. So, that's another form of relaxation for me.
That
Yeah.
is awesome. That is, and we have to have that. For myself, self-care, I think it's just enjoying those quiet moments because just full transparency moment that, ever since my mom has been sick, it's just been a roller coaster in terms of emotions and just the unexpected. And so you have to find a way to still protect my mental. And so I think for me, I just have to just take every day, one day at a time, and try to enjoy every day, and just find that moment of peace that I can find, whether it is doing something like a crafting. Now, being still is number one. It's not
Yeah.
quite a meditation or anything like that, but it is just being still, especially since I've been on vacation, and the mailman, or Ray Ray as you call him, goes to work, and I have the house is quiet. Everybody in the neighborhood is quiet, and it's like, oh, I love quiet. I don't have the TV on, and so I just like a peaceful, calm Zen moment, and then that gives me time to those ideas start rushing in, things that I want to do. Back in the day, I would try to get up and work on those things. Well, now I got to the point to where I could just write them down and get to them later. And then 55, I won't forget them. I could just go back to my little book and, oh, I remember I wrote that down. I want to try number 5 now. Okay. So, yes, my self care, and of course, skincare. Um, I need to do something to my hair because, yeah. So, all of the grooming and things of that nature, to me, that is self care. Shopping to me sometimes is self care. Okay. Because
Yes,
depending on
ma'am.
what you're shopping for. And so, I do enjoy that. Now, I don't wanna just overconsume things, but there's nothing wrong with a nice shopping trip, and sometimes it might be to a beauty supply store or something of a beauty store, and sometimes it might be to a craft store. Even if I don't buy anything, just to go and look around and just
Right.
see what's out there, what's trending, what's new, and so I just like that. I don't always have to purchase something, even though
Right.
it's nice. It's not uncommon to come out with a bag or 2, but the motivation is to just go in there to be around other creatives who are looking. I'm looking in people's shopping carts like, what are they making? Oh, they're buying paints, and they're buying feathers, or just wondering what they're gonna do with that item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All of the
So
above.
all of the above, all of the above, and so that was very, very necessary. So, what's next for you? I know that you've got an event coming up tomorrow. Are you gonna have to be present at that event, or do you get to set up and go?
My event is tomorrow. I will be present because I have to set up at 3:30, and I will probably hang around because of the distance. I typically, if I feel pretty comfortable with the people or the person, the client, and maybe if I know them or know some of their guests, I may hang around. And a lot of times they'll invite me to stay. So
Okay.
so if it's in this case it's about 45 minutes away, so more than likely I will stay for the event. So and I like to do that, especially if I have a lot of stuff there, you know.
Your
So
equipment and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like to leave. If I have to leave, it's only because I live in the vicinity. But if
Okay.
it's a distance away, I typically will stay. So and I think with over 200 guests, I'm pretty sure it's going to open up
Business
even
card.
more. Hmm.
Business card. You got to have your you gonna wear
Yeah.
your button with the QR code, or you got some.
Uh-huh. I'm going to wear my shirt. I have a custom shirt that I made with goose by Poppin Creations on the back. I have my cards. I have my buttons that the creative lady made, by the way. Custom buttons with your QR code that takes people directly to your web. I'm just saying. So
Okay.
and so but yeah, I'll have on all of that. I'll have a couple of team members with me who will be helping me. She also have some volunteers who are going to be helping to put chair covers
Oh,
on. So
perfect, perfect.
and it's important to me that I do a really good job so that it will generate more business. So I would say for me, as I niche and begin to scale down, I think that um, when designing and doing parties, you make way more money when you're doing decorations as opposed to making a T-shirt here and there. Even though I still do the custom shirts, so I'm leaning towards continuing my shirts. But if I get called on to do more parties, of course I have to do contracts and things like that. Then that would be some of the next steps for me on top of being an inventor. And we'll talk about that next time because I'm waiting on Shark Tank. I got some things in the works. But yeah. Oh, and to write my book.
Come on, book. Come on,
Yeah,
author.
yeah, yeah. I've
Awesome.
got to write a book.
Awesome.
I've got to write a
Well,
book.
we
Yeah.
already know. So now that you are already here at the R word, ma'am, you've got it. This is your time. It's your time.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh.
glad to hear when you said that sometimes just sitting still, you know, um, that's very important for me, being a future author, to take time out to sit still enough to write,
Mhm.
to go sit on my deck. I got a deck put on the house that wasn't paid for. They accidentally built the deck on the house.
What?
And yeah, it was an accident. And I'll never forget when they asked if I wanted the deck, it was $10,000. I said, no, I'll get a deck built later. So I'll never forget, my aunt was on my was at my house while I was in Memphis, or at home in Memphis, and she said she would check on my house. And so this particular day, she called me on FaceTime, and I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm on your deck." I said, "Whose deck?" We, I don't have a deck. I didn't agree to a deck. Well, I'm at your house on your deck. Don't you live such and such and such? I said, "Yeah." And the crazy thing about it is that I recall saying, what if they accidentally put a deck on the house? And they accidentally put a deck on the house. And I have pictures of the house when they were building it that said no deck in blue spray paint. It's crazy. So I guess I said all that to say, on top of that big, huge blessing, is my deck is a perfect place to go and sit out and write.
Mhm.
It's just a good, quiet, still place. I have furnished lawn furniture out there, and I really need to take advantage of that area. I think that'd be a good
No,
place
wait,
to
you
write a
mean the
book.
house that you in now, they put the
Yes,
deck on?
yes,
Oh, wow. So you didn't have
yes.
to they had to eat that cost.
They had to eat it.
Oh.
They had to eat it. They tried to get money, but I was like, no, no, that's your error. That's your mistake. I did research. I asked questions, and everybody was like, no, they have to eat that, and they ate it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So that is awesome that you had put that into the air. So I think we have to protect what comes out of our mouths because you allowed something to come out, but it ended up being a blessing for you. But just on the other flip side, we have to be aware of this thing here under our noses that we just got to always keep it as positive as we can. Now, sometimes life happens and we have to express ourselves, but that's just a testament to just being aware of the words that come out of our mouth.
absolutely. Spoke it into existence.
Yes, and it was a good thing, a
Yeah,
good speaking. Mhm.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. We have been yapping down. So I think we kind of touched all of the bullet points initially that we wanted to cover. How we
Oh, we
got here
did.
today, turned in a negative into a positive, which was this broadcast. And so it's been a wonderful Thursday to connect with Poppin Creations as part of the Poppin Creatives duo. And we're going to do this again. And so we're going to definitely make this into a series and we can make it happen. And so we wishing you much success on your event tomorrow and all of the networking that's going to come with that because we already know what you can do. We have seen your work and we know
Yes.
anybody in
So,
that area that wants creativity, you got it.
so before we
Oh,
hang up,
look at you.
so you
Okay.
guys been watching me. So in the bottom, I will
Let me make
have
you hold on. Let me take myself out. Hold on one.
this base is about 2.5 feet tall, very tall. It might be a lot taller than what it looks like, but it's tall. So what I've done is I've added studs around it using glue. Hot glue works just fine. It can also pull off for another time. I use styrofoam. I spray painted that silver, and on here it's going to sit just like this. As you can see, it'll have a floating candle in it, and the candle will be right around halfway so it won't cause any problem. I might even put it a little lower because I want to make sure even the floating candles, the flame may be a half an inch tall, so it won't be a problem. I'm actually going to try it out tonight to make sure because I wouldn't want to burn down a building. You know what I mean? So, and I'm going to have rocks, white rocks in the bottom. It's going to be beautiful. So this will sit here. I'll glue it down. And then I have this that'll be on top of there. You see that? How pretty that is? That's going to be beautiful. Okay, I have the feathers on there, but I'm not so sure her colors are black. So I think I might put a few more feathers on it, let them sprout out a little bit because I want to bring her color into it. But that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I had to go check on Ray Ray, but yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you see how I put it together?
Yes.
This,
Yes. And then
that'll
you
go
can
there.
reuse it for a different thing. So it's not gonna
Yes.
just be
Eh, See?
that's I love that. That is so beautiful.
And it's going to have rocks in the bottom. And then the floating candle will be about a third up, maybe here. So it won't come, the flames won't come that far up. I'll actually try it here at the house, but it'll
Have
go
you ever
here.
tried the battery operated candles
I
for the
have, I have,
safety?
I have those too. Um, I wish they had the floating battery operated.
Oh, okay.
I would put because that floating is always so pretty.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now,
yeah,
don't get
yeah.
me wrong. If push come to shove, I have plenty of those as well. I'll sit that in the bottom and put the
Yeah,
rocks
because that
around it.
styrofoam, you just never know. It might create like a vacuum to where the
Yeah.
heat, you know.
And see now, but I want you to know there is the styrofoam is not flush against it. There's
Oh,
space between these.
okay, okay,
It
okay,
doesn't
okay.
the mouth of the vase is bigger, if that makes any
Gotcha.
sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all
Okay.
of the air will come between there. So
Gotcha.
it won't hold the air in there, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
so it's not gonna make a like a top, a cap or lid
Right.
or anything. Right.
Right, right. But I
But
am going to
but you
try
know
it
what?
out.
Hold on. I'm so glad that we're talking about this. This is something that you might want to order to have for events. I saw this. I bought this. I'll tell you why I bought this. But this is oh, let me make myself big. I'm sorry. Hold on. This right here is something. If you're gonna be using stuff like that, you might want to get you some of this. Let me make myself big. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. You can see this. This is fire alert, easy fire spray, stops fires fast, and it's a spray foam.
Where do you spray it?
On a fire. If it's something like, if you're out at an
Oh,
event, if you got candles, I would say you definitely need to have. I'll send you a real picture of it,
okay.
and it's some I saw. I don't know if it was a Shark Tank thing because they got a fire blanket. I mean, you just got to be prepared. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
if you got an open flame at this event. So just be
Yes.
prepared. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'll send you a picture of this when we get off of this. But this is something I got, and I'll tell you why I have this.
Okay.
But it's a crafting thing, okay? And so I needed to kind of up my arsenal
Oh,
because
Lord. Okay.
it's something that I wanted.
Uh-huh. I can't wait to hear
The,
about it later.
oh gosh, I don't. Oh yeah, I have to
You
tell you
want to
about it.
tell it, don't you? I know you do.
I want to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you, but I'm just not ready to put it out into the atmosphere.
I can't wait to hear this.
You already know what it is. I know you know.
Mm.
But yeah, so my sister, we are at 1 hour and 19
Okay.
minutes. So we are going to bring it to a close. So we are so thankful. If you are watching, you can find her on YouTube, on the Instagram, and I think she's got a website. And I'll link everything below because this video will go up on our YouTube. Because initially we were gonna just be talking avatars and it was gonna be a podcast. But since she decided we were gonna be live and in the flesh, I was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
it's easy because
Can I
this is
tell them
real life.
why? Can I tell them why I didn't mind coming live and in the flesh?
Tell them.
Because we have the best conversation, guys. When I tell you we drop jewels, we feed off of each other's energy. We learn so much. We never have a dull moment, and we never get off the phone without somebody learning something. And so we just feel like, oh my gosh, if we could just share this with the world, so it's real. You know what I mean? It might be a little editing, but not much at all. We just like to keep it real, and hopefully you guys have learned something. And we hope that you guys will continue to follow us, and so that we can do this more often, because we're going to drop a whole lot of jewels on the world. I mean that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. And we were about to have this conversation in the car when I was coming back from my appointment, and she was at home doing what she's doing now. And I was like, girl, wait, stop. You want to go live tonight, or you want to record something tonight? And she was like, yeah, well, let's stop talking. Let's just make it organic and let's just talk about it. So when you see us talking, we might go over a few little bullet points or things like that. But for the most part, it's 100. It's off the dome, and we just talking like we are normally on the phone. And typically, y'all know him as the mailman, but to her, he Ray Ray. Because why is he Ray Ray?
Because he wasn't he on one of our calls one time, and we didn't know he was on the call, and we said, who is this? And he said, Ray Ray. It was so funny.
What happened? These headphones right here, y'all. Whenever I go live, it's always a whole thing, checklist. Get this done. Get this. Get this. And sometimes I just some things just don't work out. Okay, and audio is my main thing that don't work out sometimes. And so I had left the headphones in the bedroom. I had run back here to get ready to go live with us. We were doing a live video, and we were prepping to get ready to hit the live button. And so I'm like, she was like, I hear somebody on here. She said, it's Ray Ray. She said his name was Ray Ray. I'm like, who the heck is Ray Ray? I don't know no Ray Ray. I'm thinking somebody done hacked into our stream and
Right,
got a hold to the code or whatever to get in
right,
backstage. I'm like, who the heck is Ray Ray? And I think it came to me that it was my husband playing. He could hear us talking, and when I realized that's what was happening, it became a whole joke. Okay, so he's
Ray
Ray Ray.
Ray,
But he said I think she could hear him. And so she was like, who is this? He said, it's Ray Ray.
Ray Ray.
And so oh my
Who is
goodness,
Ray
we had
Ray? It was funny. Oh
so
my
that's
God.
he's got a lot of names. Okay. He the mailman, he the king in some places, but with her, he Ray Ray.
Ray
Okay.
Ray.
Ray Ray. So out Ray Ray in there playing with his new toy. So I had to go in there. I wanted to make sure I saw the Amazon package had been delivered. I was like, let me go check it. Okay. So he had
Okay.
got things out.
Okay. Well, I have enjoyed this with so much fun.
Yeah. So we wish you much success, and this has been so much fun, y'all. We are going to lightly edit this a little bit so that we can get it up tonight or tomorrow for sure. Subscribe to her channel. She does amazing DIYs, y'all. I mean, I'm just always impressed and in awe of the things that she creates because it's like large scale things. And this is somebody that I know, my sister, and it's like it just makes me proud to know that she is coming up with these ideas. But we're also having to face as a crafter, as a creative, having to scale it back. And I think that's what started our conversation in the car earlier of
Yes.
feeling like we were this is what we were feeling like. I mean, let me find the actual we were feeling a lot like we were experiencing here like we were crafters on fumes because we were feeling
Oh, yeah.
overwhelmed, and that's how we got really started with the conversation. We didn't touch on it as much, but of how do you scale down? We want to
Right.
have this, we want to paint, we want to cut fabric, we want to glue this, we want to make this, we want to DIY, we want to. And then it's like, okay, do we need to scale down?
Right. Do we? Yes.
And it's hard to say scale down because is that going to limit the things that we can do? Do
Yeah.
you just want to be a t-shirt person? Do you just want to be an event planner? Do I want to be the person who does tumblers or whatever it is that I do? Just so there's a benefit to both. So if you're somebody who has a YouTube channel, if you're a crafter, do you scale down? How do you find the balance between doing too much and getting bored with doing one thing.
or to keep from burnout.
Ooh, I
That's a
think
big
that's when
deal.
uh, the meditation and all of that comes in. You know,
Yeah,
when you have
yeah.
to step away.
Step
So we'll get
away.
more into that because we were supposed to have gotten into that today, but we just off the dome. We just organic with it and we just freestyle.
But
But
I have to.
in
But I'm gonna
another,
say this. I'm gonna say this before you hang up, or before we hang up. The reason why I was able to come on the call with her at the last minute is because I'm what? What's the R word? Because I'm retired.
you know what, I'm gonna block her tonight. You know what, she playing with my emotions right now, and she know it. And y'all gonna see a live fight, a virtual fight.
Oh me, I had to get
And
that
see,
in.
just when I thought, and I say I trust her without condition. That's my
Oh, oh.
sister from another mister. But you know how the big sister got that one thing that she can get you on. And this is
Yep.
this thing right here that she gets me on every time. That
I'm
right there, that R word.
retired. T-shirt.
So anyway, that's all right. She got me. She got me on this. She got me. I'm gonna let her have it. I thought we were gonna end this thing on a high note.
Right, right.
But that's how people to
I'll
do
take
you.
I'll take pictures and things like that to share with you tomorrow.
Okay, do that. And then make sure you do that for your social media so that you can promote and continue to grow your extravagant event planning opportunities because gifted hands for all your demands. Okay.
Thank you so much, creative lady.
How much more do you have to do?
Oh, this is the last one.
Oh,
I've
the
done them
last thing
all.
for everything? Okay.
This is pretty much it. Yeah, I've already
Okay.
done the 12-inch bases. You know, you've seen them. They just regular base.
Mm-hmm.
They just regular. I'm putting. They are all going to have floating candles, and then the
Okay.
bottom of them will be one rose, but the rose will be wet in the bottom of the water. I already
Okay.
tested it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you're good to
Uh-huh.
go. So you've been planning this for a long time anyway. So
Remember what I
just
said? Preparation. Start early.
yeah, and she's been working on this for a long time, y'all. A
Hmm.
long time. I feel like I've been going along with her for the ride. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are going to wrap this up. Gwen, stay on, and we're gonna end it, and then we're gonna keep chatting for a quick moment. So we thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Everybody's link is going to be below. We'll see you in another broadcast.
Bye.
Bye for now. Hold on, y'all. Let me find the way to get out of here. All righty.